Finished up my full body workout. I did my weight training and then got my usual 20K steps. And now I'm out here digressing, okay? And resting and relaxing. Finally. And it's not a rest day. But it is a moment in which I am having rest after my routine. And I made it a little practice to come and sit in the jacuzzi. I did yesterday as well for relaxation and for kind of like the semi benefits of a sauna that it has on the body, on the skin, and overall just on increased calorie burn. Because when you sit into a sauna, it increases your calorie burn, especially sitting in a sauna for at least 30 minutes. The same also applies for sitting in a hot tub for 30 minutes. Just a good mental note to have. Those who have the opportunity to be in a jacuzzi or a hot tub or in a sauna, that is a great tool to increase calorie burn and also aid in skin elasticity and all those things. It definitely is a useful tool. So why not? Plus I just enjoy the warmth. I'm glad it's not too hot today because I'm not a fan of being in a hot tub when it's hot outside. I am not. I am the type of chick that gets in a hot tub when it's chilly. I really am. I am a winter hot tub chick as well. So I'm grateful. I'm glad this is open 24 hours every day. Okay. So in any season, I come out here with in the winter time, okay, with a nice little warm roll and have my towel. Come and sit in the hot tub. When I get out the hot tub, get right back in my roll. Okay, yes, God. I'm a fan of the cold weather anyway. I play around with having my AC on, turn it off and on, all seasons. All seasons. I know that don't work for a lot of people, but that's me. That's my blood level. I think just out here finally, with my books. I am definitely a part of my own book club. I really am into reading heavy, okay? And I feel like you really know yourself when you can dwell in your own company without worrying about anybody else accompanying you. When you can be in your own skin, in your own presence, without worrying about anybody else accompanying you, that's truly getting to know yourself. And that's where I'm at, the space that I am in, and I am loving it. I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. I love having my time. I love being introverted with extrovert tendencies. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me get into that workout. What I'm coming to find to be like very beneficial for me in muscle development, within maintenance, as I'm in body recomposition, my version of body recomposition for myself. Consistent weight training routines. Just consistent weight training routines. So what works for me is consistent cardio every single day. Cardio by way of walking. Okay? Because walking is anti-cortisol striking. Okay? Versus doing HIIT versus doing something that's very more high intensity. Um, Although I love that too, I'm a chick for cardio. I'm a cardio chick, but I'm also a weight training chick. But I would never eliminate cardio out of my life ever. I think anyone would be a fool to eliminate cardio out of their life. Cardio is a calorie burn corrector. Cardio is good for cardiovascular system, heart health, because that's like one of the number one causes of fatalities, heart disease. Okay, so how can we strengthen our heart? By making sure we continue to do cardio on a regular basis, right? 8K to 10K steps a day. If you want to do more, great. If you're in body recomposition and you're smaller, it's going to take more calories to burn. Okay, so you may have to step your step count up to 15K or maybe 20K, depending on which one gives you the results. Being as though you're in a smaller frame now, your BMI is much lower than it was when you were obese or when you were overweight. So you got to play around with cardio. Saying that to say that you can never eliminate cardio, because if you eliminate cardio, you're going to see the repercussions of what eliminated cardio does at the end of the day. Cardio is science-based, especially walking. Low-impact cardio, long-state, low-impact cardio is scientifically based. It makes you feel amazing. It makes me feel amazing. That's why it's something that I would never ever stop. It is a permanent maintenance tool. A permanent maintenance tool. And here's the thing. If you can't wrap your head around being consistent in cardio during weight loss, and more than likely you won't be able to be consistent in cardio and maintenance. Cardio is a maintenance tool for sure. Getting your steps in is a maintenance tool for sure. Consistency is a maintenance tool for sure. Discipline is a maintenance tool for sure. Self-control is a maintenance tool for sure. So, I don't know if there was a time I really was anti-cardio, even when I was at my highest weight, and I was in the mindset and posture of trying to lose weight. I always was hung up on cardio. I already just knew cardio was it. That's why I took on running, when I was 284 pounds. I started running. Before I got into GLP-1, I was running. Of course walking, but I wanted to really kind of put my best foot forward, so to speak. I really wanted to really jump in, because I had that type of aggressive type of, personality and mindset. I'm like, you know what, let me just jump in and not baby step this cardio. Let me go in all in and push my body to the level which, I can see some real results with this cardio. So I started running. As well as I ate 1 meal a day. Just as a regular meat eater, I'm a whole food plant-based pescatarian now, but before, at that time I'm speaking of, I ate meat, and then later on down the line I went into veganism, then vegetarianism, and now whole food plant-based pescatarianism. I still am strong on the vegetarianism part of that, because I eat a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruit. Okay, I would never eliminate and grains and beans. Like I'm whole food, plant-based for the heart for the rest of my life, just with the incorporation of fish. But before all of that, it was just eating 1 meal a day. I ate 1 meal a day, and I really was strict on it. It wasn't 1.5, was it? No, I ate one solid meal a day, and then I probably had some form of a dessert. But it was pretty much just 1 meal a day. I ran and I drank as much water as I could. I did it 5 to 6 days out the week. Running up and down the boulevard, all that. Like, I really grew accustomed and I grew a joy for running. And it really gave the results. It gave so much results that you would think people probably thought I was on GLP-1. And this goes into another topic. You can have rapid weight loss without GLP-1 medication. It's all about your systems of habits, your system of practice, how aggressive your deficit is, whether your deficit is created, that you created your deficit by just not eating as much, or you allowing the deficit to come through the calories you burn through exercise, or both. You have a strong deficit from eating, and then you also allow an additional deficit tool to come in through exercise. I had the deficit tool of eating less, and then the deficit tool of running, burning the calories I was burning from running 5-6 days a week. And if I wasn't running, I was doing some form of cardio at the gym or at home. I was on my mini stepper, I was on my treadmill at home, I was on my stationary bike at home, or I was in the gym on a treadmill, on their elliptical. I was always cardio based. That's why I'm saying cardio is something that cannot be negated. It's backed by scientific research. And I'm not saying that to say degrade and minimalize weight training, no, but it should be a healthy combination of both. But with cardio, it still remains priority. Cardio is priority. Weight training is additional for sculpting and additional metabolism support, because cardiovascular is metabolic support as well. But weight training comes in because once your muscle is developed, okay, then you burn more calories at rest. You don't burn more calories at rest until your muscle has formed, until you have formed muscle, until you have, consistency in where you are starting to develop muscle development through protein synthesis. So, focusing on protein, cardio, and weight training multiple times a week is essential. But just don't X out cardio. That's not what I definitely recommend. It's not nothing I would do. I feel like I'm at my greatest with the incorporation of cardio every day. Like, honey, now I'm at 20K steps plus a day, and I'm okay with that because, I'm smaller now. I'm very much smaller now. I'm at a very lower BMI. So in the process of, losing small pockets of fat but developing muscle simultaneously, weight training is still needed, also just for strength and longevity, in addition to cardio and for youth rejuvenation, and just to feel good. Y'all, I don't know if you, I really want you to get into weight training 3 times a week at least, so that you can feel amazing. It's all I can say. This is overall fitness, nutrition, and wellness. Not just weight loss. Because this has to be an overall sustainable lifestyle for you. And that's how I'm treating it for myself. This is a lifestyle. Hitting my routine is a lifestyle requirement. Managing healthy habits through systems of practice is a lifestyle thing. It's not short term. It's not a challenge. It's not just to get to this goal. There is no goal. It's a forever lifestyle. Now, if you're in weight loss, then I can understand you saying a goal, but you're trying to get to a number, a goal. But once you get to that, it's not over. It is not over once you get to that number. Because regardless of whatever that number you got to, once you're in maintenance, you got to be able to continue your practices. And then you also got to understand that your scale is going to fluctuate regardless. It's going to fluctuate in weight loss, and it's going to fluctuate in maintenance. So don't get into the mindset of trying to have a pinpoint number every single week, because that's not the reality. And you got to kind of get yourself out that mindset. I had to get myself out that mindset as well. I'm in a range, but that mindset of trying to pinpoint one number to stay in, you're not. My 125, cool, but that starts the range. Realistically, if I weigh myself every single day, it would not be 125. And whatever your pending goal for weight loss, when you weigh yourself every day, it's not going to be that every single time. It's not. You're going to fall in your range. You're always going to have somewhat of a 10-pound fluctuation, which is why you have to leave leeway in there and let the scale move like it moves, because it's going to always move. And that doesn't mean that you don't use the scale as a determining factor, because it's still important to collect data. It's just about how you mentally interpret it. Don't allow it to psychologically take you off course, that you're so warped with the number on that scale that it immediately changes your trajectory. It makes you feel like, oh, I gotta cut more calories now, cut it now, cut it now. When in reality, if your routine stays exactly the same and there's a fluctuation increase in the scale, it's probably not based off your routine. It probably is just water retention based off of some complex carbohydrates or simple carbohydrates you consume. You know, do fruit, vegetables, or something else. Your body has to have time to recalibrate itself. And in my opinion, I think the best way the body recalibrates itself is probably in a time frame between 7 and 14 days. To be honest with you, the 14 days more so. Weighing yourself every 14 days. You know what I'm saying? I know some people may not be comfortable with weighing themselves once a month, you know, but you can also get to that level too once you are secured in your maintenance, your routine. You understand the scale. You understand your weight range. You understand all the dynamics that goes into this, into weight management. And you're comfortable with yourself. You can do a once a month weigh-in, and that being an appropriate determinator to continue to manage your weight. It's when you just avoid the scale altogether. I don't think avoiding the scale altogether is the key. Studies show that those who weigh themselves on a monthly basis are more likely to maintain their weight versus someone who does not. So the scale is a factor that needs to always be in play. Cardio and a scale. Weight training for sculpting and further metabolic boost, the increasing of metabolism once you have started to form muscle. But cardio, at the end of the day, lifting weights doesn't burn more calories than cardio, and that's science as well. So I don't want to get into that tit for tat either, because science shows that cardio burns more calories than than weight training. But once your muscle is developed, it does increase the calorie burn at rest. But also after you do cardio, you also burn calories after. It's called an afterburn. You're still burning a certain amount of calories after you have done your cardio. I know this from experience of doing cardio. And then also you can chat GPT that information or Google it to confirm that. Wonderful internet gives us so much information. So it's not anything that we gotta pause and question our brain about, really. It's really about just sticking to the cause. And that, I feel like that is one of the major problems that people have, is having that mindset to stay consistent and disciplined.